Welcome back to Important Library Stuff, a podcast where library staff share the inside scoop on all the stuff that happens at Prince William Public Libraries. And trust us, it's a lot of stuff. I'm your host, Emily Bickers, media specialist from the Office of Communications and Marketing, and I'm joined each episode by fellow staff members and special guests who know a lot more on each episode's topic than I do. Which for this episode is our Library of Things collection launching later this month. I am joined by the director of our Material Services Division, Kirk Johnson. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me, Emily.
For anyone who hasn't heard the term before, what exactly is a library of things?
You can find a lot of definitions online. Generally, it's an offering of physical, non-traditional items, things that are not print media or some of the other physical media that libraries have offered for decades. Truly things, physical things that a library chooses to offer to its community.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So why did Prince William Public Libraries decide to launch this collection now?
I reached out to staff at all the branches and asked for them to join an ad hoc committee to help advise myself and Material Services on what it should look like. The committee broke into subcommittees on different areas, and each one was supposed to come up with one suggestion within that area, like entertainment and games, household repairs, education, etc. And those initial items were supposed to be the launch. And we're all ready to go now.
Great. Yeah. How does this fit into the library's mission of serving the community?
It fits because in some ways it's a way to kind of broaden the reach and say, maybe you're not a reader, maybe you prefer to own your own books, but there's other things that perhaps you could use once in a while that you don't want to clutter your garage with.
Right, because it's filled with bookshelves. So.
Yes, exactly. It's just a matter of recognizing that we should be driven by community need rather than our understanding of what we think the community needs.
Yep, fantastic. How did you decide what to include in this collection? You talked about the subcommittees.
Yeah. I definitely chose to let them tell me what the first round should be. Every subcommittee recommendation was purchased. And then in general, I've already started to make a list of second rounds. More than a few subcommittee members reached out and said, it was disappointing to only be able to pick one item. And I said, well, what else would you guys suggest? So I have a growing list of things, and we are going to start adding to this collection. This is just an initial launch to see how it works.
Great. So can you list the items that are part of this initial launch?
Yes. One thing we have is a portable Blu-ray and DVD player. It kind of looks like a overstuffed laptop. It is totally portable, has its own screen. It is battery operated, but also is rechargeable and has cords that can be plugged into. It does have an adapter that can be plugged into what used to be the cigarette lighter in a lot of cars, which is now a power source. So it's if you are taking a long trip with children or young people or anybody who wants to sit in the back seat and watch a movie, can help you that way. We also got a 4-person pickleball kit. If your HOA is sponsoring a pickleball and you want to give it a try but don't have the kit yet, you can stop by and get this. There's a thermal camera, which would have saved me some money. Several years ago, our house had a bad leak that was allowing cold air during the winter to freeze pipes and make us couple of rooms in our house almost unlivable at times, and ended up paying a service to come and do thermal imaging, and they found the leak, and then I paid them to seal it. And so thermal cameras are great at finding these hot spots or cold spots in your home that'll help you figure out where you might need to patch or plug up a leak. We also got a combination tool, a laser level and stud finder. It provides a laser level so you can make perfectly straight lines that are perfectly parallel to the floor when hanging pictures or attaching other things to your wall. And the stud finder allows you to find studs or wood, behind the wall. It also can locate wiring, which is something you want to know before you start drilling things into what you might think otherwise is an empty wall space. We also have a toolkit. It's a small in a soft portable case, and it's just kind of nice for simple household repairs and fixing things up. It's got pliers, wrenches, screwdrivers, and of different sizes, and just the kind of basic toolkit that a homeowner can use from time to time, and not every homeowner, especially a renter, might not have. Then we have a thing, it's called a Zenimal, and it's essentially an audio device. It's kind of like an adult version of the Wazoodle, but the Zenimal provides guided meditations and background noise. It's just a thing for older teens and adults, and just sort of fits that need for sometimes you just need some white noise or some background, something to help you relax or get to sleep. And then we have a detachable portable CDs slash CD-ROMs DVD drive. More and more laptops and other devices don't have built-in CD drives, but a lot of people still have old DVDs and CDs that they need to maybe look at files or something. I personally have a bunch of digitized DVDs of old family home movies, which is great, but my laptop doesn't have that, for example, so I can plug in a portable drive to watch it. And so if you have a modern laptop that lacks a DVD drive and have some CD-ROMs you need to get some ad information off or whatever, it's there for you. And finally, there's a 49-key kid-size electric keyboard. It is kid-size. The keys are smaller than a full-size keyboard. If you've got a child who's learning to play a little bit and wants to kind of just test the waters and see if they are ready to move up to a bigger keyboard, this is a great way to try that. These are all cataloged and ready to go. There's one other item, and this one was maybe the biggest surprise and the most unusual. It's electric plug-in power washer for cleaning decks and sidewalks and so forth. That one, I'm trying to figure out the best way to package it. It's not yet being added, but it'll be ready soon. We just need to find a case of some kind, and that'll be added once we have the packaging issue resolved. And that's the 1.0 Library of Things initial launch. There'll be more to come.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Were there any items that immediately stood out as, we have to offer this?
I mean, a lot of these really. I thought the CD drive was a big one because a lot of people get a new laptop and then too late. This happened to me when I got a new laptop years ago. I didn't think too much about the CD drive because even then I wasn't using it much. But there did come a day when I was like, I can't watch the DVDs anymore. And I think a lot of people can have that. Also, the thermal camera and the laser level, these are big ones because these are tools that oftentimes very few people hopefully will need a thermal camera more than once. You find where your insulation is inadequate or there's a gap in the siding or something, and you fix it. And then, knock on wood, you never need a thermal camera again. So it's not something necessarily most homeowners need to buy. And you can certainly rent one from a hardware store, but this is something, a one-time use. You can come in, borrow it, nip the problem in the bud, and then return it.
All for free.
For free, yeah.
So it seems like a lot of these items are things that people only need to use occasionally. Is that kind of the goal of the collection?
Absolutely. There's a mix of things that you probably only need this once and hope you'll never need it again, like the thermal camera I mentioned. And there's other things that gives you a chance to try it. Pickleball. If you really get into pickleball, you'll probably want to buy your own kit. You and your friend or your partner and your next door neighbor. So we should give it a try, but I don't know if I want to spend the money. You can show up ready to play and then find out if it's for you.
Yeah, including the pianos. You never know what kids are going to gravitate towards.
Absolutely.
So you can try the piano out without having to
You can try the piano out.
It.
That's another good one. Absolutely. Yeah.
As you mentioned briefly before, this isn't the first non-traditional collection at PWPL. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about the Wazoodles and Launchpads and Playaways and how they paved the path for this collection?
They paved the path in two ways. One, they got us to a point where we're offering routinely non-traditional items, things that are not just different media like movies, books on tape.
There's the magazines and
there's
newspapers.
Magazines, there's other things, there's different media, but these things weren't just different media, they're actually fundamentally different devices with a different experience. The Launchpad isn't just a different way of reading a book, it's completely different content that's specifically digital and interactive. And so we had already sort of like embraced looking outside of traditional library holdings. The second way that they paved the way wasn't just for us to get in the habit of looking for new things and showing patrons, hey, there's other stuff here, but because some of these things and also like hotspots and Chromebooks, these things had a technological aspect, which meant there was more working with other divisions. So we got experience in like what sort of questions do you need to answer when adding a tech device.
And then I also wanted to mention our maker spaces where patrons can use a large variety of equipment and materials on site for free. Make sure to check them out at Bull Run and Central Libraries. And we are also currently building our third maker space at Chim Park Library. So stay tuned for more information about that. Another good way to try a hobby and all the equipment that comes from that hobby before investing. So what does this expansion of providing more than just books say about how libraries are evolving?
I'm a strong believer that And I'm in material services. My job is, along with everyone else in material services, our jobs are to make sure there's a collection of things and media and information in the library. And that is, core. And I'm a reader. I'm a print book reader. But I've also come to think that in the year 2026, we are a public space, and I do think that librarians, especially public services staff, we're custodians of a public space and a community space. And so the things we offer, we have to get beyond thinking of ourselves as information conduits. That's still a part, don't get me wrong, but the idea that the library is a place that you come to. And so I think that in some ways this fits in with the idea of having more meeting rooms and conference rooms for people to come in and meet with their tutor, to get away from a noisy house and do some studying. People do job interviews here. People do all sorts of things at the library, and they come to the library because they know that this is truly a public, free space. Yeah. And so to weave ourselves into the fabric of the community and be a part of it and a resource for it, we need to constantly rethink and broaden what we offer patrons. And this is one way to do it.
So getting to practical matters, who can borrow items from the Library of Things?
Anybody with a library card. These aren't Fabergé eggs. These are standard consumer products that are meant to be used. And so we already check out other technology products and, take care of them the best you can. There's replacement costs, just like there is with anything that might be damaged or lost by a patron. But other than that, they're not special.
Great. Yeah. They're meant to be used for sure.
Yeah.
How long can patrons keep them?
Right now, we're still doing with the 3-week checkout because that is the common denominator. We may find out that's not practical. We'll see what happens when it goes live.
Are there any special borrowing rules people should know about?
There will be, disclaimers.
I assume they're not going to auto-renew, though.
They're not going to auto-renew, yeah. One library thing that we've had in the collection already that we didn't talk about were bike repair kits. Those were actually given to us. They were a donation by the Department of Transportation here in the county, and they generously provided us with enough bike repair kits for every branch, 2 kits for larger branches, and they all got used. There are bike riders all over the county, and we really quickly instituted a practice of not holding patrons responsible for every missing piece. If a single piece went missing, there's a mechanism in place to replace, missing kits or to remove, kits that are damaged or missing pieces out of it. So that kind of practice kind of sets us up for like the toolkit. If someone, we kind of already know how to deal with these things and so forth.
Can items be placed on hold and sent to your home branch?
To begin with, to centralize the Library of Things here at Material Services and the Administrative Services Center. So we're holding them. From that website, you can place a hold, and that thing will then be sent to your branch of choice. Whichever branch, we'll send it there, and you can pick it up. And drop it off there or at any branch. And then it'll be sent back to ASC for, in some cases, cleaning or, especially the pressure washer.
You already talked about a second wave of items that you were thinking about. And this is kind of a plea to our listeners out there, because if this collection proves popular, you do envision adding even more.
Yes, we'll add more things. We'll also, for now, we only have one of each item. But if popularity proves that there's a demand, we do have the funding to buy duplicates to meet demand. And there's a good chance of that happening with several of these items. And then I have some suggestions from the committee members on a second round, and I'd love to hear from the public and staff more ideas because we'd like to grow this collection.
Any parting thoughts or tips?
I would say that this is a new initiative. It's, as you correctly pointed out, it's not new for us to offer certain things. And there's some other things we haven't even discussed. So I would say we probably have at most doubled the size of our actual Library of Things collection. But we're making this more of a self-conscious effort to really grow. It's going to be a dynamic, evolving collection that's going to grow with demand, grow with use. Feedback is more than welcome. The more we hear back from patrons, the easier it is for us to know what to start building our collection with.
Great. I will close this out with a quote from the book referenced in the episode title, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. The thing that looks the most ordinary might end up being the thing that leads you to victory. Thanks for listening, and join us next month for the next episode of Important Library Stuff. Thank you, Kirk.
Thank you very much, Emily, for having me.